I would have offered Krugerrands or Britannias or Philharmonics or Kangaroos weeks ago if I could. The fact that I can't get them in large quantities at a fair price to me is very, very eerie. And makes me think that it's not going to get easier anytime soon, because those things have been as plentiful as water my whole career. Not so much right now.
Here at Liberty and Finance, we're licensed brokers with Miles Franklin. We are standing by the inventory, ready to make sure you get what you need, even into the wee hours of night and on weekends, because preparedness doesn't stop. Call us 1-888-81-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-815-4237.
Welcome back to Liberty and Finance. We're delighted to have this returning guest, as we do every week for our weekly market update. Andy Schectman is the CEO of Miles Franklin Precious Metals, and he joins us this Tuesday, February 15th, 2022. Andy, thanks for coming back on for another weekly market update on Liberty and Finance.
Good to be here, Dunnigan. Thanks for having me.
Our viewers look to you for insight into what's going on in the physical supply chain for silver. You know, it's funny because I bet people wish they had an insider in every part of every supply chain. How's the toilet paper looking for next month? How's the food looking for next month? How's everything that we are concerned about maybe needing to get in a pinch looking for next month? You've got the eye on this, on the precious metals. We'll have some of our other experts on talking about some of those other commodities of life. Energy is one of them. Big concern going forward. But can you talk to us about, you and I, before we got started, we're talking about how it remains more difficult to get on a timely basis sovereign minted silver coins, and it's reflected in what we are able to offer for our special this week. So could you talk to us about what you're seeing on the supply chain for precious metals? Give people a market update.
It's the same thing I've been saying for a long time now. I suppose it's starting to sound like old hat, but getting the sovereign issued coins is really very difficult. While we have a very limited supply, I'm not comfortable offering them on special because I don't have enough of them coming in on a regular basis. Half the times we sell them to people, we're front selling them in expectation of them being in a few days or next week. And by the time the truck shows up, yeah, we have 50,000 coins in there, but 41,000 of them are already sold in the past 10 days. That's normal in this business. Of course, we're always upfront with people about that and say they're coming in or they're in stock. There's a delineation there. But while they're available, the premiums are still uncomfortably high, and the availability is uncertain, as is really if I take an order and I'm expecting it, we keep running into repetitive delays, and it's something that has me concerned enough to not offer them on specials. If you go back through 2021, and again, almost all of our specials were the sovereign issued coins, and I'm sure we'll see them again. But when I have plenty of silver eagles in stock, lots of them, but they're between $8 and $9 over the price of silver. I have plenty of maple leafs in stock, but they're over $5 an ounce over the price of silver. And the coins that I'd like to have been selling all year long, or last year, the Kangaroos, the Krugerrands, the Britannias, the Philharmonics, while we get them, the supply is sparse and sporadic, and the premiums have inched up enough to where I'm just not comfortable. There's better value to be found in the generic rounds, the Buffalo rounds, the 5 and the 10 ounce bars, the kilo and the 100 ounce bars. It's not always that way. It's never always been that way. But the market right now dictates that there's better value found in these bars, in my opinion. So I'm trying to bring what I think is the best value to the public. And just because I don't have those sovereign coins in stock doesn't mean we don't have them or can't get them. The circumstances just aren't appropriate, in my opinion, to call it a special.
Two things that occur to me when you mention the difficulty and the inconsistencies with deliveries on sovereign minted coins, or other products as well to some extent, is two things. One is that people need to be aware in this environment, when there's supply chain disruptions affecting everything, that there are supply chain disruptions affecting delivery of precious metals, not only from the mints and the wholesalers to us, to our operations, but then from us out to the final delivery to clients who order them as well. So that when we give our best estimate, when people call and we say, yep, we're expecting this in within a week, so it shouldn't slid on your order, because if you pay by check, money order, or ACH, that's going to be approximately 2 weeks till that's all ready to go. So yeah, you should be good. And then we suddenly get a 1 or 2 or more week delay from a mint, or due to the trucking or shipping or whatever, that can throw a wrench into the delivery schedule, and it can raise people's questions. Hey, that's not what I expected. So that's almost to become expected rather than to be a surprise, unless we already had it in stock. And that gets me to my second point I was going to mention. It occurred to me, just bing, light bulb going on, as I was sending out shipping notices this past week, that the people who had just placed orders with me earlier in the week, I was already sending out their shipping notices if they paid by bank wire and ordered what was in stock intentionally. And it's almost like there's two different experiences that people are having just by taking two different approaches. Those who order what's in stock, in hand, and pay by bank wire are getting their stuff like within a week approximately. And people who order by check, money order, or ACH, and then buy whatever's the cheapest or whatever, if they don't have it in stock, but we're expecting to get it in stock, can have a very variable experience. They're subject to more of those fluctuations. So it gets me back to my preparedness days, is one in the hand is worth any number in the bush, because what you have in your hand, you can make much more secure plans based on than what you expect, you hope, and expect to get in the future. Just your thoughts on, because I'm sure you've seen this in your part of the practice as well, very different customer experiences enjoyed by people who either pay by wire and order what's in stock versus people who pay by the methods that require clearing time and order what's coming in the future.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the same, and I would put cryptocurrencies into the same category as wire. And just so people understand, we're not actually taking the cryptocurrencies and giving gold for it. We issue a BitPay link. BitPay then converts that cryptocurrency, and they do many of them: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, stable coins, all sorts of stuff, and convert it into dollars and send us immediately the proceeds. And it was amazing. I did $1 million Ethereum order a few months back, and like that, the money was transferred. It puts to shame the efficiency or the lack of efficiency in the banking system. No question about it. Even a wire where you can agonize over it for a few hours or even a day. Did you receive it? If it's coming from Europe, could be 2-3 days. The inefficiency of the banking system is certainly magnified when you use cryptocurrencies. But anyways, the issue that a lot of people have when using, in particular, an e-check or a check, is that they see the funds clear their account. We'll use the e-check as an example. They give us the routing and the account number. They take a picture of a check. They send it to us, email us, and whatnot. And we process it, and it clears their account in a day or two. But they're saying, well, where's my metal? But the problem is, if you're standing at a grocery store and someone took a snapshot of your checkbook over your shoulder when you're writing on a check and you don't notice it, or copies down your number and has the ability to try to initiate an ACH with a company like Miles Franklin, you would want enough time to go by so that we aren't sending and drawing out of your account immediately and sending precious metals, which then creates a whole big problem for the end user, for the consumer, if it's identity theft or fraud. And when we set up our ACH platform, U.S. Bank more or less said to us, look, we want a 10-day hold on all ACHs and personal checks to avoid clawbacks, to avoid chargebacks, to avoid identity theft. And the real issue is that, even though I like to make fun of the banks for saying we're a high-risk industry, in some respects you could argue we are. If identity theft happens and you're sending something physically to a person who then has it in their possession and disappears, it's an issue. So when you talk about why people have to wait when they're doing ACH or check, we have to give it 10 days or 7 business days to properly clear so that identity theft really isn't an issue. It's when someone would do a check and say, where's my stuff, or an ACH 2, 3, 4 days later, that's when problems could happen. If it were shipped out and we realize it's fraud, then it's a whole another issue altogether. So you're right. If someone wants something quickly, a bird in the hand is worth X in the bush. No question about it. A wire or cryptocurrency transfer into things that are in stock. And, look, things used to always be in stock. It's a revolving door right now. We're trying our best to keep stuff coming in. just as it's going out. Last week, we talked about having 100 bags of junk silver in stock, or 100 bags. A bag in this industry typically means $1,000 face value, a million dimes, in other words, if you had them all in dimes. So we're 250,000 quarters if it were in quarters. Anyways, the point of it is that that's a lot, right? Well, over the weekend, one person bought 70 bags. So as much as coming in, it's really hard as going out to keep it coming back in. And anyway, so look, I just think that this is becoming a real issue. And if people want to get things quickly, pay for it by wire, get what's in stock. And we'll do our best to be upfront about that, of course, when someone is placing an order. But again, I see this as being a continuing challenge moving forward, as the mints have not stepped up for the first 2 months here in 2022 to make it easier for us to offer the sovereign coins at a reasonable price like we did for the last 2 years.
I guess with that, if you could go ahead and let us know what we do have available in enough quantity that we can offer it for a weekly special this week.
Yeah, we're going to continue the 1 ounce silver rounds, which are in stock, the Buffalo silver rounds at $3.19 over the price of silver. We have some really cool Italian 5 ounce bars with certificates of authenticity. I think we have 1,000 of those in stock, and those are at $3.49 over the price of silver. And rounding it off, we have some really nice 10 ounce bars, both the Nadir and the CNT Eagle bars, and those are $2.95 an ounce over the price of silver. Those are also in stock. So here's a way to get a good value, not compromising utility, and the items are in stock, which is, as we're talking about, very important for a lot of people. Before I forget, I'd like to make a shout out to this group here, the Silverback Precious Metals Company. And they sent me one of these, something I hope to be carrying in product here real soon. And what they do is they slice a piece of a 1,000 ounce bar with a bandsaw. You can see they wrote my name, Andy Schectman, on it, Miles Franklin, and they stamped the ape, the Wall Street ape. They're very neat products. They sent this to me as a sample, and I just wanted to say thank you publicly. And these are the kind of things that we hope to bring to the public. And someday soon maybe offering them on a special. And just to round things off, I like to always bring little bits of craziness. Reading an article today, just read that in 2033, in 12 years, 11 years, 10 years, 11 years, that Social Security is expected to completely be insolvent. And today it was updated, a $59.8 trillion shortfall to Social Security. So all of these little pieces of the puzzle keep coming together. Be your own, make your own savings, be your own Social Security plan, be your own IRA, be your own bank, take control of your finances and get some metal in your possession before things get crazy. And I think by the second quarter of this year, as the Fed is forced to I guess either, do as they say or be exposed as being rendered neutered, you're going to see some fireworks. If they raise rates and things start to get exciting, which I think it will for a period of time, it's important. And it's important to get things in your possession now under the, following the thread of in stock, because the supply chain right now, much like all the supply chains across the globe, is very unstable and it's very uncertain. So we'll keep doing the best we can, then again, to bring stuff to the public, to your listeners. But and I don't take any particular joy in saying I told you so, but you get to see the back end. You get to see behind the curtain, and it's not easy. And this is coming from a company that's very high up on the food chain, deals with all the major distributors, with all the major importers, with all the major mints, and a U.S. mint authorized reseller. So with all of that being said, and having plenty of Silver Eagles in stock, I'm afraid to offer them really to the public because they're too darn expensive. So we've been choosing alternates and other things, and those are beginning to get tough too. So I think it's only going to get worse. Honestly, I truly do, especially as the realization comes to the public that the Fed is in trouble and they're backed into a corner. And I guess we'll have to see how it all plays out. But just looking at things like a $60 trillion shortfall to Social Security, and you got so many people reliant on that, in a decade, it's gone. Where are we going? And so I think it's time people take accountability, just like they do in every other aspect of their life, take accountability for their finances. And this is a good way to do it.
And just to underscore something that probably most people already know, but just to make sure it's clear here, we've interviewed both Rob Kirby, who's a Canadian citizen living in Toronto, talking about the trucker rally for freedom, and which results in essentially a strike to assert the importance of ordinary people and freedom in the face of mandates, but that does impact the flow of goods. And there's major points of normal commercial traffic across the border that are effectively closed at this point surrounding that demonstration. Secondly, in the U.S., we've interviewed a trucking industry insider who said things are not getting better, and they're now expecting the disruptions that we've seen for the last 6 months to a year in the supply chain to go on through 2023, maybe into 2024, where they were originally hoping it'd be wrapping up in the first couple of quarters of this year. They say not so. Looks like it's going to be protracted much longer than expected earlier. So it's looked like this is the new normal for now, is very fragmented supply chain. So underscoring what we've talked about as far as preparedness means having it in your hand. And anyway, Andy, if you have any further thoughts for our audience before we let you go.
Yeah, I mean, this is all exacerbated by a Fed who wants to be very ambitious about tightening and quantitative tightening, and raising rates and selling off their balance sheet. At the same time, we're starting to see the economy slow. I mean, people are spending less because everything they're spending costs more. So you're going to see a slowdown in the economy. Look at new car sales. They're way off as prices are way up. And it's the lowest expectation people have had in decades about buying a new car. The Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, the lowest it's been in over a decade. You know, the economy is starting to slow down. People are starting to rein in because of the costs of things. So on exacerbating all of this, you have a Fed, which is very unusual at the beginning of any new monetary policy tightening cycle, to be doing so at a period of time when the economy is beginning to slow down. And so it makes me wonder, you know, are they really going to be able to follow through with going through with tightening, doing all of these things as the economy is slowing down, or are they just going to double down and continue to inflate? Either way, it's not going to be smooth sailing ahead. And I think this is the entire reason why people need to pare their exposure away from the stock market, add a little exposure to precious metals, have some cash, be prepared. And because, look, you know, they're talking about war in Russia on Wednesday. Just watching on Fox News before I came on here with you, I don't know how they know that, but an invasion on Wednesday is what they're saying. So there's so many things happening, flashpoints all over the place that can set this thing in motion. And, a supply chain that's as fragmented as it is, an industry that's as strained as it is, when everyone comes running in this door is when it all happens overnight. And I don't always want to sound this alarm and beat this bush, but I would have offered Krugerrands or Britannias or Philharmonics or Kangaroos weeks ago if I could. The fact that I can't get them in large quantities at a fair price, to me, is very, very eerie, and makes me think that it's not going to get easier anytime soon, because those things have been as plentiful as water my whole career. Not so much right now.
Yeah, also in the spirit of preparedness, guys, we've talked for years about having some cash on hand, and our bank, my personal banker, who has known me for years, called me up, had a little chat with me about the amount of cash that we had been acquiring, and saying that their internal compliance department had asked him some questions, and so he was just doing some diligence and that kind of thing. And we just explained, we need to keep some cash on hand for various needs and Christmas presents and all kinds of things. But anyway, don't expect that you'll be able to just stroll into your bank and privately obtain as much cash as you want. You need to take early action, and it may be too late for early action, but don't delay. And
that's shocking that the guy would actually call you. I mean, if that isn't frightening, I don't know what is. We live in a world of decreasing privacy, no question about it. So adding a little privacy to your portfolio is never a bad idea either. So anyways, I want to wish you a great rest of your day. Congratulations on the marriage of your son coming up, and look forward to seeing you again here real soon.
As always, Andy, thank you very much for being part of all of this and for offering us your presence and your insights every week on this weekly market update. Folks, so that you don't miss a single episode, make sure you go to libertyandfinance.com, put in your name, your email address, click submit, and then confirm when we send you a confirmation email, and you'll get every single issue of our email newsletter that gives you all of our interviews with all of our guests. You won't miss a single one, no matter which of our social media outlets those are posted to. And Andy Schectman. Oh, and also, folks, in case you haven't noticed, we are answering the phone late nights and weekends. So if you have a need, do not hesitate. Call us at 888-81-LIBERTY. Andy, thanks for joining us again for this weekly market update.
Always good to see you, Doug. Again, stay well.
Miles Franklin Precious Metals is one of America's oldest and most trusted bullion dealers. Miles Franklin is A+ rated and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, licensed and bonded, and has 0 complaints ever registered. Here at Liberty and Finance, we are licensed brokers with Miles Franklin. To order, simply call us, discuss your needs, and we will let you know our live inventory, prices, and availability, and lock in your order over the phone. Once your order is locked, the price is held for you regardless of market fluctuations, and the metals are reserved for you awaiting your settled payment. Within 1 business day of ordering, you will receive an email invoice detailing the order and payment instructions. Miles Franklin accepts payments by bank wire, ACH or electronic check, money order, check mailed priority mail, and cryptocurrency. The fastest forms of payment are bank wire and cryptocurrency. Upon settled payment, metals will ship out within 3 to 5 business days. You will receive tracking information via email. Domestic shipping charges are $15 for any order under 500 ounces of silver or 10 ounces of gold. For orders larger than that, domestic shipping is free. The package will be double boxed, fully insured, and labeled discreetly, with no indication of the contents inside. For your privacy, the name Miles Franklin will not even be on the package. To talk to myself, Elijah, my brother Kaiser, or my father Dunnigan, call 1-888-81-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-815-4237.